I'll be revealing the murderer in these summary vids, so consider yourself warned. The Case of the Restless Redhead was the first aired episode of Perry Mason, September 21st, 1957. A young waitress with a haunted past gets caught up in blackmail, Hollywood romance, and eventually murder. All of this happens without us once seeing the victim, the late, unmourned Harry Merrill, a.k.a. Lester Gladden, a.k.a. Blackmailer McGee. In fact, the most striking image of the entire episode is a sinister figure peering out from behind a white pillowcase. We later find out that the man wearing the case is not the victim, but the murderer himself. The lesson, as always, beware of men who visually associate themselves with the Klan. The episode is a perfect synecdoche for what makes the first season of Perry Mason great. We have a distraught defendant whose situation involves a rogues gallery of possible murderers. We have a Perry Mason who isn't afraid to play fast and loose with the evidence in order to acquit his client. And finally, we have a classic, let's eat while you tell me how you solved the case, Perry, denouement. Whereas Earl Stanley Gardner would frequently start his novels with Mason, the television shows almost always start with the client, establishing his or her situation before introducing Perry. Before the first commercial break, we've met our future defendant, the titular redhead Evelyn Bagby, and only then do we meet Mason lounging in a smoking jacket in his apartment. From there, we get the runaround with the police, Mason's revealing interviews with interested parties before they get to court, and Mason's courtroom pyrotechnics, patent pending. The episode also features the paradigmatic moment of the guilty party confessing to the crime on the stand. This very rarely happens in the novels, and it's a rarity even in this first season. The episode revolves around the big motive in Mason's world, money.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with this case.
$10,000 is the motive for murder. Gentlemen.
The murder victim, Harry Merrill, is a degenerate skirt chaser who took Evelyn Bagby for all she was worth after he had done the same with future Hollywood star Helene Cheney.
His name then was Lester Gladden. He stole $1,500 from me. It was all the money I had.
The murderer, Mr. Bowles, the that guy actor bit player Vaughn Taylor, confesses that he committed murder and theft simply to get away from his nag of a wife.
I figured it out. If I killed him, I could get the money. I could get the money and get away from her.
And even Mason himself occasionally comes across as a callous cad, accusing Bagby of using her big blue eyes to get him to protect her.
On your big blue eyes to convince me you were innocent.
Maybe you'd better forget about me, Mr. Mason. Forget about those big blue eyes.
It's unclear whether Perry is baiting Evelyn, asking her to stand up for herself, which she does, or whether he's really giving her an ultimatum. In either case, he sticks around and eventually solves the crime with some baffling ballistics work. Ultimately, justice gets served, and Perry and Evelyn get to celebrate thanks to a huge check in their hands at the end of the case. Of course, the reward for a job well done is money. Way to go, Perry!